Before you apply to Amazon, here's some things you need to know. Coming from a person that has never worked a warehouse job, coming from a person that has never worked an overnight shift at that, okay? You're gonna be tired. I work from Sunday to Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. to 5 a.m. Sometimes Thursday, sometimes to 6 a.m. Your back gonna hurt. My first day, I felt like my back was gonna snap in half and I was gonna cripple down to the ground. I got used to it after like the first week. My back still hurts, but it wasn't as bad as my first day. Like, bro, I knew some shit was up with the job when they had a prayer room. You know how depressed a job has to be to have a prayer room? Are you serious, my nigga?
Yes. Amazon actually has these rooms. They are called the Contemplation Room or the Multi-Faith Room. It's a small room where Amazon employees can go to cool down. So after a long day of delivering over 300 packages, thank you, I can sit Amazon in an empty room alone.
Before we dive deep into this Amazon strike talk, let me first take you through my own experience with the company, from the madness of working in that warehouse to the frustration of being an independent contractor for their flex delivery program. It was around 2018, 2019 when I first applied for a position at an Amazon warehouse. I expected the usual holiday rush, busy, yes, but manageable. What I wasn't ready for was the sheer scale of the operation. This wasn't just a busy warehouse. It was an industrial machine that ran 24/7, sorting and organizing massive volumes of packages, which were then loaded onto Amazon 18-wheelers. The building was enormous and the place was relentless, a never-ending fast-paced cycle. I currently work for a non-profit providing permanent housing to the homeless, and in comparison, it's a world apart. Within a week and a half, I said to hell with Amazon. The money wasn't worth the stress and fatigue. As a result, I quit and unsubscribed from Prime. For a brief moment, I thought about how Amazon's Prime service has become a lifeline for college students like I used to be because it's the perfect tool for busy students. Quick delivery, easy returns. But when I saw who was actually fulfilling those orders, the elderly, the physically disabled, and pregnant women working nonstop to keep up with the insane pace for 10-hour shifts, I thought to myself, this is insane. Amazon doesn't discriminate when it comes to who gets sent to the assembly line. Whether you're 20 or 60, whether you can walk or not, if you're on the line, you're expected to perform at the same insane speed. This wasn't the type of environment I wanted to be a part of, especially when I work for an employer whose business is directly involved in making a positive impact on people's lives. But my experience with Amazon didn't end there in the warehouse. I decided to try my hand at Amazon's Flex program, the gig where you can deliver packages as an independent contractor. On paper, it seems like a good side hustle. Control over your hours, flexibility, and the potential to earn some decent money, but the reality was far from different. Amazon Flex drivers are expected to deliver packages to some of the most challenging addresses, places that are difficult to navigate or reach. Add in traffic, road closures, and the constant stress of trying to figure out if the delivery location even matches what the app says, and it quickly becomes clear that this job wasn't as flexible as it seemed. Sometimes the office buildings weren't even open, or I had no access codes to gated communities or apartment complexes. Navigating through apartment buildings often felt like a maze, elevators not working, multiple hallways, or sometimes having to deal with parking issues just to make the delivery. And let's not even get started on a university. If you ever tried to make deliveries at a university, you know how challenging it can be, especially when you're timed and have no room for error. Speaking of being timed, that's where Amazon's unforgiving nature really comes to light. I had signed up for a 3-hour route, a reasonable amount of time for me to finish my delivery. Once finished the route, the Amazon app insisted that I return to the warehouse within 10 minutes despite I was 45 minutes away even though I had not chosen another route. Contacted driver support, explained the situation. Amazon, not being happy with the response, awarded me a few performance issue points and no show. The unreasonable expectations from Amazon is the reason I unfriend Amazon and why so many quote unquote employees are standing in front of Amazon doing this.
There's this insane report that just came out on Amazon recently, and there's one part everyone's getting hung up on, and I'll admit it's bad. Their warehouses have a 150% annual turnover rate for their hourly employees. You've maybe heard of the lawsuits of pregnant women who were denied bathroom breaks, or the way that their employees are tracked down to the second. But what if I told you this turnover rate was intentional? They want it. One of the main sources is this practice called hire to fire. They intentionally hire people knowing they're going to fire them. We're not talking about seasonal employees. We're talking about people that are being promised full-time work. But hey, it gets worse because it's Amazon. It always does, doesn't it? It's not just that they hire people to fire them. Management literally has a quota to either voluntarily or through termination lose a specific number of employees every year. So in order to be viewed that you're doing your job well as a manager at Amazon, you have to be turning over a certain amount of employees. So think for a second, what sort of incentive does that give their management to make working conditions better? These jobs suck because Jeff Bezos himself wants them to suck.
The world's largest retailer, Amazon.
Amazon is now offering its employees money to quit.
Up to 18,000 employees are getting fired starting this year.
Amazon wants their employees to resign. This might sound counterintuitive, but it's true. It turns out that for Amazon, it's actually beneficial to constantly churn through employees. This is actually one of the main reasons that Amazon treats their employees so poorly. Whether it be exposing warehouse workers to safety hazards, making their drivers pee in bottles, or working tech staff to the bone. Amazon does it all, and it looks like their efforts of creating a terrible working environment are playing out perfectly. In fact, Amazon's turnover rate is so high that they measure it on a weekly basis. Amazon loses approximately 3% of their warehouse workers every single week. This translates to an annual turnover rate of 150%. In other words, Amazon's entire warehouse workforce is replaced basically every 8 months. And considering the working conditions of these people, this rate is not too surprising. But why in the world would Amazon want their employees to resign? They likely spent thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars on recruiting each and every one of their employees. And let's not forget all of the time and resources they spent on onboarding and training employees. So it doesn't really make sense to sign them on just for 2/3 of warehouse workers to leave in 90 days and their tech workers to leave in 2 years. Right? Wrong. It turns out that constantly churning through employees is not only cheaper for Amazon, but substantially more productive. In fact, Jeff Bezos has gone as far as declaring that a tenured workforce is simply a march to mediocrity. As employees become more tenured, they tend to also become more comfortable and more lazy, or at least that's what Amazon thinks.
So here's what the New York Times says. Amazon's founder, Jeff Bezos, did not want hourly workers to stick around for long, viewing a large disgruntled workforce as a threat. This other executive recalled who worked at Amazon but then left. Company data showed that most employers became less eager over time, he said, and Mr. Bezos believed people were inherently lazy. What he would say is that our nature as humans is to expend as little energy as possible to get what we want or need. That was embedded throughout the business, from the ease of instant ordering to the pervasive use of data to get the most out of employees. So guaranteed wage increases stop after 3 years, and Amazon provided incentives for low-skilled employees to leave. So every year they would offer associates thousands of dollars to resign. They made sure that any position, they gave people sort of the illusion of promotions being available, but then there'd be one promotion available for hundreds of people.
He just shitted on an entire working class of people and then turned around and says this.
Amazon founder and billionaire Jeff Bezos has sparked a flurry of criticism this week after thanking his workers for paying for his flight into space. After touching back down in his company Blue Origin's rocket ship, Bezos and his crewmates exchanged hugs and popped champagne. He then thanked Amazon employees for making his trip possible.
I want to thank every Amazon employee and every Amazon customer, because you guys paid for all of this.
But not all were happy with those remarks coming from the world's richest man. U.S. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweeted, quote, Yes, Amazon workers did pay for this, with lower wages, union busting, a frenzied and inhumane workplace, and delivery drivers not having health insurance during a pandemic. And Amazon customers are paying for it, with Amazon abusing their market power to hurt small business. Meanwhile, labor union president Stuart Applebaum told Reuters the comments by Bezos were obscene.
It's outrageous that Jeff Bezos says his rocket ship amusement park ride was paid for by his workers. He could have done a lot more for humanity if instead he paid his workers fairly and spent the money that was necessary to protect their health and safety and their lives. There is so much more Jeff Bezos should be doing for his employees. And now to say that they're the ones who paid for his joyride is obscene.
Bezos, who founded Blue Origin in 2000, has said he hopes to develop a fleet of reusable spacecraft and build a future where people can live and work in space. He says Blue Origin...
Mr. Bezos, which employees are you referring to? Because the spokesperson says drivers aren't part of the team.
If you think Amazon is all about next-day delivery and great deals, think again. Behind the scenes, Amazon employees are facing brutal working conditions, endless hours, minimal breaks, constant surveillance. Imagine packing boxes for 10 hours straight with barely enough time to eat. Workers report injuries, stress, and exhaustion, all for our convenience. And the worst part? They're often treated like they're disposable. This is the reality that Amazon doesn't want you to see. It's time to stand up and demand better for the people who make online shopping possible.
Okay, y'all, let's talk about Amazon. Not the rainforest, Bezos land. Bernie Sanders just dropped a report claiming that Amazon's warehouses are basically injury factories. Turns out, Amazon's own studies, Project Elder Wand and Project Soteria, what is this, Hogwarts? Warned that crazy productivity quotas were hurting workers. Amazon execs were like, cool, noted. Now, let's ignore it. Results, injury rates nearly doubled the industry average. OSHA's even fined them over $100,000 for safety violations, but Amazon's appealing like it's a bad Yelp review. And if you get hurt, they don't want you to see a real doctor, they send you to Amazon Care. What's next? Asking Alexa for stitches? Amazon claims we've improved safety. Sure, Bezos, but improved from what? Look, we all love Prime shipping, but not at the cost of someone's knees. Let the people rest, my dude.
Amazon workers have walked out early after being expected to work an extra hour unpaid because of daylight savings. Today we are looking at the latest development in Amazon's funhouse of horrors. After we turned our clocks back on November 3rd for daylight savings, and Amazon took that as an opportunity to squeeze some wages out of its night shift workers. Tampa-based content creator shared a TikTok along with co-workers saying that they were told by management that they would not be compensated for the extra hour worked. The post garnered heaps of attention, with many criticizing Amazon's unfair policy, only paying for 10 hours of the 11 hours of labor. So the workers walked out in protest after the 10th hour, as they should. According to the Fair Labor Standards Act, this is illegal and is considered wage theft. However, this is nothing new to Amazon's business practices, as comic book supervillain Jeff Bezos has ruled the company with an iron fist. In a May 2024 nationwide study, warehouse workers were surveyed about their material conditions. 53% of workers reported having food insecurity in the past 3 months. 48% experienced housing insecurity. 56% struggled to pay rent, i.e. masses of Amazon employees are hungry, homeless, and struggling so that Jeff Bezos has enough money to go to space for funsies. However, going to space is a business expense that makes sense, because Jeff Bezos was hoping to find space aliens to ask them if they have any sci-fi technology that could reanimate skeletons to work in his warehouse so he wouldn't have to pay all those pesky employees that need to eat food and use the bathroom.
Amazon, they treat their workers horribly. So these warehouses are huge, right? They say like the nearest bathroom is like a 15-minute walk. You get a 10-minute bathroom break. But all these people say that it takes them 10 minutes just to walk to the bathroom. Evil? There are people that wear diapers into...
Get the fuck
I
out.
swear to God.
Show me this on
people,
the internet.
Amazon warehouse workers forced to pee in bottles or forgo their bathroom breaks entirely because fulfillment demands are too high.
You gotta be kidding.
They are now issuing adult diapers to workers. There you go.
Come on.
Amazon.com began allowing its workers to wear adult diapers to relieve themselves between breaks.
That's
Amazon hopes this new program will satisfy its workers.
That's a program.
Right.
Wow.
We need to protect certain things because if business gets too big.
Can't you say no job? You can't then don't take a job there.
but they're the second largest employer in America. Half of the jobs in this country are their jobs. There aren't other jobs to take.
That's hysterical.
This
Imagine being a grown man wearing a fucking diaper to work.
Just to pack a cardboard box because we want it faster. That's not right. That's not right.
Not right.
Delivery drivers are currently experiencing a significant surge in their workload, creating challenges in effectively managing their routes. This situation is further complicated by Amazon's algorithm, which adds even more tasks during peak periods. In light of these demands, workers are articulating a pressing need for sick days, a benefit they lack. Many are feeling the physical strain of their strenuous jobs and are seeking the opportunity to recuperate when necessary. Moreover, striking workers contend that although Amazon professes to offer competitive benefits, these do not reflect the significant workload they face each day. The physical strain associated with their positions frequently results in injuries and considerable fatigue. As they continue their fight, the workers underscore their long-standing struggles and the urgent need for fair compensation to adequately support their families amid the ongoing strike. Additionally, there is a strong call for Amazon to acknowledge their union, emphasizing the legal ramifications of failing to do so. This highlights the vital role of collective bargaining in their quest for better working conditions.
People are basically in this big sprawling warehouse that's stocked with goods in very random fashion, and they have scanners that tell them which things to get. And people are walking maybe 10, 15 miles a day. People are just kind of crisscrossing this big warehouse all day long.
As workers told him about the punishing pace to meet the daily quota of packages and the intense heat, Soper and his colleagues started to investigate further.
People really felt like Amazon was playing fast and loose with their health.
Soper discovered there had been numerous complaints to authorities at the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA.
They actually had a complaint from an emergency room doctor who called their hotline one day saying, listen, you might want to check out this Amazon place. I've had people parading through my emergency room to be treated for heat stress.
I think we've been very clear that management and AFSEC has been engaging in blatant intimidation and retaliation tactics against Amazon workers. And to be very clear, we're not going anywhere because your threats are just like your promises, empty and without backing. This company promises its workers diversity and inclusion and has the Black Employee Network posted on every single wall, but does not provide translation for Hispanic and African immigrants. This company promises a safe workplace, but whenever queer and LGBT people here are discriminated against, mispronounced, or dead-named, Glamazon does nothing. This company promises fair pay and fair hours, but you flex us without care for our time and without extra pay. As corporate profits rise, our pay stays the same. So no, we are not intimidated by your tactics. We're not going anywhere, and we're not scared, because our strength comes from our unity. That's right. Because we work together for the betterment of our coworkers. And unlike management, we're willing to put in the time and the energy to make sure that we get the pay and the benefits that we deserve. We know that we're in the right because you have to lie.
Come to you for our safety. Your job is literally to keep us safe. Period. That's your job. That is your job, bro.
This group is getting big. I will be able to address anybody's concerns individually at the moment. These people feel unsafe. All these people feel unsafe. You guys feel unsafe out there?
Yes.
No. It's not fair. That's why this has come to this. It shouldn't have to come to this.
The general manager is not even here. He wasn't here on Sunday. Like, how can you explain that? It's a Tuesday. I get it, on Sunday you're with your family, but it's a Tuesday, and this building is having a crisis.
You guys call yourselves leaders? Where's the leadership at?
like, you should let people go home if they feel unsafe. I mean, there's all sorts of breathing issues that you don't necessarily know about what people's pre-existing conditions are, and people should have the option to VTO if they feel unsafe.
Right, are you going to prioritize people's safety over production? Are you ready to let the head count drop and VTO people?
If there's VTO that is needed, that I'll look into, make sure that you guys get VTO and you guys can go home.
Well, we hope we don't have to come back today, but if things get worse and our safety is not prioritized, unfortunately that might be what it takes.
I am here.
Because everybody who has come today feels unsafe.
I am here, thank you.
Another safety issue that I haven't really heard anybody mention are unknown chemicals. I had a tote that had some type of liquid leaking from it. When I exposed it to a warehouse supervisor, his response was to sit it to the side and take it off the route. Are we not going to investigate the chemical that was leaked onto other packages that I still had to handle and deliver, which could contaminate the entire route and receiving customers?
My name's Griffin. I'm a tug driver at Amazon KCVG, and I was fired by Amazon just 2 days ago for trying to attend anti-union captive audience meetings last month when the company flew out dozens of high-paid union busters to spread lies about our union. Amazon doesn't want pro-union workers speaking up for a $30 an hour starting wage, 180 hours of paid time off, union representation, free on-site childcare, and translation for our coworkers who speak English as a second language. Amazon fired me because they're afraid of our campaign's momentum. Over 500 workers at KCVG just participated in a democratic survey to weigh in on key questions about the union, like dues, membership rights, and the ability to recall elected leadership in our union. Within just 12 hours of me being fired, my coworkers have been walking around the ramp with buttons that say, "Stand with Griffin, fight for $30 an hour." We're fighting back by building for a rally on February 3rd with our coworkers, their friends and family, community and faith leaders, elected officials, and working people from all around the Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky area to launch a vote on our union constitution. It will take all of us to take on Amazon. Come out to our rally on February 3rd at the Florence Christian Church Activity Center, or donate to our union to help us build our fight for $30 an hour. Amazon might have all the money in the world, but we have solidarity. And there's nothing more powerful than working people getting organized and fighting for what we deserve.
My name is Marcio Rodriguez, and Amazon is trying to fire me. Last week in the grilling heat, we had the AC go out in our vans. I organized 3 crews to stand up and say they were not going to go out and work until the AC was fixed. This, of course, pissed Amazon off. This is a basic demand that we can ask for. It's humane, and they should treat us better. This is one of the richest companies in the world, and we deserve at least that. We won that demand. We got them to fix the AC in the vans, and we also got them to bring 2 vans over from Kiln, a site that's not even 30 minutes away. This is what can happen when workers come together. This is worker power. Today, Amazon went a step further and brought me into a stew meeting. They admitted to surveilling me. This is because of my union involvement, all the organizing that we have done. They're saying I did the same thing that Griffin did. They're doing the same exact thing that did to him before they fired him. I will not let this intimidate me. This should not intimidate any other worker as well, because they're scared of our growing power. We're now affiliated with 1.3 million Teamsters, and I know that they have my back. Join me in the parking lot tomorrow, right after shift, so we can rally together to show Amazon the power that we have. Solidarity.
And now to breaking news. The Teamsters launching what is called the largest ever strike against Amazon. Chief Business Correspondent Rebecca Jarvis is here with this story for us. Good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning, Michael. Good morning, guys. And this strike, it started a little more than an hour ago right here in New York. And according to the Teamsters Union, it will also include about 10,000 Amazon workers at facilities all across the country: Skokie, Illinois, Atlanta, San Francisco, and Southern California. The Teamsters say in a statement the nationwide action follows Amazon's repeated refusal to follow the law and bargain with the thousands of Amazon workers who organized with the Teamsters. But according to Amazon, the Teamsters don't actually represent their workers. The retail giant telling us for more than a year now, the Teamsters have continued to intentionally mislead the public, claiming that they represent thousands of Amazon employees and drivers. They don't. And this is another attempt to push a false narrative. The big question for consumers right now, with this action coming less than a week before Christmas and Hanukkah, will there be any delays in shipping gifts purchased on Amazon? At this point, organizers have not said how long the strike is expected to last, but the Teamsters president says if your package is delayed during the holidays, you can blame Amazon's insatiable greed. And George, just be kind to the workers out there right now. They are hustling from every company.
They are going through a lot right now. Okay, Rebecca, thanks.
Amazon basically said, we don't need those employees. They were temps anyway. If Amazon feels that way, this means the Christmas surge has to be picked up by someone. I'm thinking another employee that's in the prayer room contemplating on joining the strike. These are the employees that can't afford to strike, and Amazon knows this. Shout out to the customers that leave refreshments out for the drivers.
It couldn't come at a worse time. Amazon drivers at 10 distribution centers across the USA are on strike. And now everyone wants to know, will your Christmas packages arrive on time? Here at the Amazon Fulfillment Center in Queens, New York, union members blocked off the exit. And here we are 6 days before Christmas. That is why this action is taking place.
Absolutely. It's all about leverage. This company continues to violate these workers' rights.
Police were on the scene with a warning.
If you remain in the roadway and refuse to utilize the sidewalk, you will be placed under arrest and charged with disorderly conduct.
This Teamster was handcuffed and placed in the back of a police van. Shouts of "let him go" were called out as cops removed another driver from his vehicle. The strike began in 4 states: New York, Georgia, California, and Illinois. And there are fears it could spread elsewhere. If your package is delayed during the holidays, you can blame Amazon's insatiable greed, says the Teamsters president.
I'm out here making money for Amazon, but Amazon keeps saying I don't work for them.
What's going on at Amazon?
So if you can hide, we can see your greedy side.
Today, Teamsters launched the largest strike against Amazon in American history. All over the country, Amazon workers went on strike to demand a fair union contract. Gen Z for Change went on the ground to ask workers why this is so important.
My name is Latrice Johnson, and I work as a driver out of DBK4 here in Queens. We need them to come to the table because we deserve better pay. Safety is the number one when they speak about it, but when we're out there on the road, it's not that. Holidays, we're working and we have children at home, and we don't get extra pay for that. Or the holidays where we don't work because we have off that day, we still don't get paid, and it's not fair.
My name is Luke Albert Rene. We're asking simple things: better benefits, better wages, having some respect from them, and actually having people offer packages instead of packages offer people.
Personally, I just lost my brother, and Amazon wasn't really there for me at all. They gave me numbers to get support, and I called those numbers and I actually didn't get the support I needed because I was told that I'm not an Amazon worker, I'm contracted, and I need to speak to the owners of the company. And I feel like that's very unfair because I'm out here making money for Amazon, but Amazon keeps saying I don't work for them.
Right now, Teamsters union members are on strike against Amazon in several cities. A spokesperson for Amazon is calling the entire situation a PR play.
It's holidays that come around and I can't be with my daughter because I have to be here and I don't get extra pay for that.
So you have thousands of Amazon drivers on strike this morning across 4 states at about 7 locations. And essentially the reason that they are on strike this morning is because the Teamsters, which represents them, says that Amazon has not come to the table to negotiate with them on things like pay and benefits. These workers are not recognized as union members by Amazon and by the National Labor Relations Board. And Amazon, for their part, is saying that this is an illegal strike because they are not union members. But the Teamsters say, we represent them. And ultimately, the question is, why now? Because they have been trying to be recognized for so many years. Well, this is ahead of the holiday season, and they want to make a stand. Amazon saying that this will not affect people's deliveries for Christmas and Hanukkah, but just the perception that there is a strike at Amazon might get someone, a consumer, to say, let me not order last minute from Amazon, let me order last minute from Walmart instead to ensure that I get my presents, my packages for the holiday season, and that ultimately is a win for these workers.
You heard what I said. Amazon is saying right now that they're intimidating workers, coercing workers to come out here. What is your response to that?
You know, Amazon's really the one that's intimidating and coercing and harassing workers. Every day since we've began our union campaign here at DCK6, they are trying to scare workers who are participating in the union organizing, and they try really hard to divide us by rewarding workers who don't participate. So, you know, they're the ones that are harassing workers. They're the ones that have been continuously breaking the law, trying to divide and conquer the union. But we're not backing down anytime soon, and we're not afraid of what they're doing. Amazon has the ability to stop this right now by coming to the bargaining table, and they're choosing not to. So we're going to be out here until we get our fair share.
Amazon says that this is a small percentage of the workers across its U.S. workforce and that this will likely have no impact. But what is your response to that?
You know, this has a tremendous impact because workers across the country are seeing every day that there's a fight that's worth joining, and that they deserve better. And there's workers all across the country in Northern California, Southern California, Chicago, Atlanta, New York, and so many other places that are seeing what's going on, and they're ready to join our fight too. And so this is tremendously impacting this company by demonstrating to its workers that they deserve better, and they're stepping up and joining us.
So you guys are going to be out here until when? Until you get what?
We are out here demanding a fair union contract. We're demanding that the company come to the bargaining table, and we're going to be fighting until we get what we deserve.
Leah, thank you so much.
It's become the new normal for 350 packages. Years ago, that was only during peak. Would you ever see 350 packages? Now it's gone crazy. That shouldn't be a doable route, 350.
Yeah, me personally, I'll pee in bottles at work every day. I mean, it's like a common thing that we're doing.
Someone on the other side told me that he had to pee in bottles on the job to hit all of his stops. You hear stuff like that?
Absolutely. I'm guilty of the same thing. In the last 6 months, I think I've used the public restroom about 5 times.
You don't even have time between stops to...
No, because we're held to a quota.
So I imagine if you're delivering more packages, that means you guys get paid more, right?
Absolutely not. We don't get paid per package. We get paid hourly.
So what kind of raise have you seen? You must have gotten a huge raise if you're doing double the packages, right?
Absolutely not.
So your wages have stayed stagnant?
I'm at $22.75 after 6 years. This new raise that went out for the minimum wage, $21.50, I'm at $22.75.
So what's it like living off $22.75 in this area? I mean, are you able to make it? Like, what are you hearing from your coworkers?
No, I'm the sole provider. I have 5 daughters. I have 3 still left at home. The other 2 are grown. So I budget every payday, every last dollar. And I can't afford the little things in life. Those are the things I'm fighting for. We're not greedy. We want a fair day's pay for a hard day's work.
We do, I would say, get paid just a bit more. I think it's like maybe 75 cents more because there's 2 different vans here. You got a step van and then you have the Ford Transits, and we're step van drivers, so we used to have that incentive of $1 more, but now we're even across the table.
So that's the price of having to pee in a bottle at work is 75 cents an hour.
75 cents. Some people get 10 cents, sometimes less, though.
The crazy part about Amazon not acknowledging the drivers as part of the team is that Amazon has their name on majority of the trucks that they use, and an Amazon work vest for the drivers who are subject to the same rules, regulations, standards, monitoring, production output, and discipline with a paycheck signed by Amazon as if they are regular employees. What are you talking about? I'm not an employee. Aren't you the one that hired me? And with that said, until next time, peace, and I'm out.
So you've spent the better part of a year investigating Amazon and its warehouse conditions. What did you find?
We found that they're injuring a tremendous amount of people. The injury rates in their warehouses, for the warehouses we were able to find, were more than double the industry average for their serious injuries. So this is like, as many as some warehouses had 15 serious injuries for every 100 workers, up to, a quarter of the workers were being injured. These are extremely high injury rates, and they're Amazon's official records.
So warehouse work is, it's not easy work. It's grueling work. How much of this is tempo? How much of this is technology? And when you talk about higher rates than what you see on average, what kind of numbers are we talking about?
Yeah, so like for average for the warehousing industry, you'd expect to have 4 serious injuries per 100 workers. At the Amazon facilities we looked at, it was above 9 per 100 workers, and some of these warehouses were up to 26, almost 26 per 100 workers. It's just unheard of. That's 6 times the average. And yeah, over and over again, we heard that the reason behind this is just how fast these warehouses move, how fast the workers are required to move. Each worker is tracked down to the second, how many boxes they have to get. They have to process per hour. These are hundreds of boxes per hour. They have a specific target. And if they don't hit that target, they know that they will get written up and eventually fired. And so when they're confronted between, maybe losing their job and having to take shortcuts or put this toll on their body, they do that and they end up getting hurt. They, injure their backs, their shoulders, their knees, repetitive stress injuries. They have strains that put them out of work for months. I talk to people who are basically going to be in lifelong pain, and they end up just getting replaced by the next worker who can hit that quota. Amazon has said that they have these robots that, now these really technologically advanced warehouses with robots that make the job easier for workers. The workers don't have to walk for miles. They just stand there. The robots bring the packages to them. But what we found was that actually the warehouses with robots had some of the highest injury rates. And what we understand is that the workers actually have, because the robots make things more efficient, they have to work faster. They have hundreds more packages to deal with an hour. So they're going faster and faster and faster and faster with these robots, and their bodies are breaking down.
Well, why do you think these issues in the warehouses aren't showing up more in online reviews in particular? I've looked at the Amazon warehouse worker reviews, say on Indeed, and they've got around 40,000 plus of those. Walmart also has them, Walgreens, Costco, others. They're all around 3.5, 3.6 star rating out of 5. Is it just that the numbers are so big that these injury cases and conditions don't show up as clearly? Why isn't Amazon getting a 2 rating out of 5 if their warehouses are so much worse than the others?
Yeah, I can't speak to the online reviews so much as that I know I've talked to a lot of workers who they didn't post an online review. They're at home, they're in pain. A lot of them didn't want to speak on the record about Amazon because they're honestly, they feel like Amazon has all this power and all this money, and who am I? I'm just, a lone individual. I'm not going to speak out about it. Don't put my name in. I'm afraid. So there's a lot of people like that out there. The online reviews, I don't know, but these are the actual injury records of Amazon. Amazon tracks it according to the government standards, and so these, it's easy to compare, the Amazon's numbers versus the industry standard versus, anyone else's. This is like, what they're held to by the government. So these are the records, and they show the true toll. It's, you have warehouses with hundreds of, more than 400 injuries in a year, thousands across the country.
Hey, Will, where is OSHA on all of this?
So OSHA is requires companies to track this data, but there's no, limit for how many people you can hurt. I mean, there's no, for the injury rate. High injury rates can trigger inspections. So you would expect that there would be some inspections here. But actually, one of the things I found is that even when a guy died in Indiana and was crushed by a forklift, OSHA came in. They actually cited Amazon for some serious safety violations, and then all of a sudden those safety violations disappeared. They were dropped. And I called the OSHA inspector who was on that case, and he told me go ahead. He was actually had political pressure from on high, from up to the governor's office, to back off that case. And so, in the end, Amazon didn't face any citations.